The red light's on. You know what that means. We are live. What is up, people? Aaron the Dog of Aaron the Dog MMA is back with another breakdown with Brandon of MMA Wagers. We are here to break down PFL 7, also known as the beginning of the playoffs. So, first of all, PFL, do a little better job advertising that the playoffs are starting, maybe. Because, I wasn't even completely sure until, I did a little further research. I'll admit that first. But just because there were so many dropouts, Natan Schultz not on the card, Yohan Ceferino not on the card. So we've got some guys.
That was an actual competitor, but he had to drop out. I think Natan Schultz never made it to the playoffs, but it's still unfortunate we don't get to see the double champ fight.
Yeah, no Lance Palmer in the playoffs, I believe, either. There's pros and cons.
No Fabricio Werdum.
This is the con to the PFL playoff structure, I guess you could say, if there was one. But either way, we've got the 170ers and the 155ers coming at us in the first PFL back from a little bit of a break. But now they've got 3 straight weeks. They're going on Friday this week, Thursday, Thursday the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
We'll just go ahead and hop in. We might have a guest.
Or it's a Thursday next week, and then in 2 weeks it's another Friday night card, and we'll have to break down LFA that night as well.
Right. So
a lot of MMA on the horizon.
I'm not sure why you just move off of the Thursday card, at least until football starts. I'm not sure why you'd move off Thursday. PFL Thursdays was a thing, but oh well. We're going to go ahead and hop in here. We might have to stop here along the way. Possible guest, possibly not. I always just say guest because I don't want to put any pressure. There's things that happen with fighters. It is a fighters on fight week, I'll say that much. But other than that, we'll see. But we're going to hop in here. Again, when you see me pause, I'm just trying to keep track of time codes. Seems to be something people like. So hopping into our first fight of the night here, we got a very good one at 155 between two newcomers, 5-1 Hopeton Stewart taking on 5-0 Alvin Espinoza. This should be a very good, high-quality fight here. I know Alvin Espinoza has been signed to a multi-fight deal with PFL. I'm not sure with regards to Hopeton if this is just a one-and-done or what necessarily, but either way, we got the Prince versus Alvin Espinosa. I will be breaking down the Nicaraguan Alvin Espinosa out of Miami first, 28 and a half years old, 5'9", 73-inch reach, fighting on Round 5 MMA down in Florida. There's actually some pretty decent guys at that camp. But Alvin, 5-0, really great record, obviously, undefeated. On an 8-fight win streak when you go back to his amateur career, 28 years old, just entering his prime, in my opinion. Coming off of 2 wins with Icon. Shout out to Dave Van Auken and Dean O'Toole over there. So I do know that Alvin's agent is Dean Toole. I do know Dean personally, so and he has very high things to say about Alvin. But he's definitely backed it up. Started with a couple rear naked chokes before having a really impressive kind of back and forth grinding affair against a Matt Friavalo, who only 4-5, but really came in with an aggressive wrestling game plan that Alvin handled very, very well. He was down at a few points in that fight and was able to get back to his back, get the fight to the feet, and ended up finishing him in the second round. Then Alvin kind of got into a groove, ground and pound finish in his Icon fights in the first one, and then the second one against Luis Campa. It was over in Mexico. It was stopped very early by a Mexican boxing referee. If I'm being honest, he did rock him with a head kick, but wasn't quite over. It was over in 19 seconds. But the thing that was good about that for Alvin is he got to go overseas, got to get additional experience with preparation of going and fighting somewhere that isn't just Tampa or something, for example. So he's used to fighting in places that aren't just Florida. He's looked very good, very well-rounded. wrestler in high school, improving quite a bit. Over to Hopeton Stewart, also I think a very good wrestler / grappler. 5'1" for the 5-1 for the Prince. 27 years old, 5'8", so he will have a reach disadvantage in this fight for sure. But Hopeton looks to use kind of his hooks and his striking to get into grappling range, get into clinch range, everything like that. But before we kind of move any further, I think that maybe we'll have someone on who has a little more to say about Hopeton. If you couldn't tell by my breakdown, with me having quite a bit more to say about Alvin than Hopeton, my pick just real quick before we get to our guests. I do have Alvin in this fight. Unfortunately, the secret appears to be out. Minus 305 odds, bro. Making me have to probably lay you all over the place. I was really hoping when they saw the 5-0 and the 5-1 guy, which
it'd be more even money, you would think.
I was hoping something like that, and Hopeton has some cool highlight reels on YouTube.
190. Why couldn't they give us that?
Yeah, unfortunately, the secret is out. But before we go any further, we're going to have a little break in the action because our guest has decided to join us. And our guest is Mr. Alvin Espinosa. What up, sir? Thank you for joining the crew here. Can you put your phone to the side, we'll be able to see more of you. These are all the things you're going to be used to with your interviews. Yeah. There we go. How you doing, Alvin?
Good, man. Good. How's that?
Yo, your goatee is on point. That's all I got to say.
There we go.
The facial hair is on point, my friend.
Look good, fight good. We are in fight week for you, Alvin. We were just getting started with the breakdown, and you are the opener, which I don't think there's anything wrong. Starting at 5:30 on ESPN Plus, by the way. So if you don't have ESPN Plus at this point, you're not an MMA fan. I'm convinced because there's just not only the PFL, obviously, that we've got the prelims that are shown on there for all sorts of orgs, but
and the behind the scenes of major events. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I do wish that ESPN would put a little more focus into advertising the PFL. I don't want to go too negative here, though, to start. How are you feeling in your first fight week with I respect Icon a lot. Dave Van Auken is a mentor of mine and who got me kind of the ball rolling with my breakdowns here. So I know that Fight Bananas, they love Icon. I love Icon. It's given a lot of good talent here. I know Dean represents you. But what's your thoughts on getting to the PFL, getting to one of the biggest stages kind of in MMA? How's fight week been so far?
No, it's been great, man. It's really cool, to experience like what it is like to be in a big promotion. Like I've been to the little local shows. So another show, I got to travel, to Mexico. So I got to fight internationally, and now I get to compare it to like what a big show is supposed to be. So like it's very different. It's very organized. It feels like a job. It is a job. Everything's through emails. Before everything was through text or like Facebook. Now it's all emails, signing paperwork, and when we got here, everything is like by the book. I have to get COVID tested. We waited to get results, and then we get checked in, and then we got like a little tour of the whole facility. There's like there's a whole training room here. Like it's so different.
Yeah, and this is
for everybody.
And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, too. 5-0 early in your career here. You're getting to a huge stage here in PFL. PFL, we break them down, and we break down every PFL for a reason. It is one of the pinnacles in MMA. Don't get yourself twisted here. And I think it's interesting because there's still some motivation here. Obviously, first of all, shout out to one of our best fans here in Boston Commons, Bunny, who's joined me for a few breakdowns, but this is one of the best MMA representatives out there, so definitely you'll get used to seeing Boston Commons in your support after this Espinoza. But shout out to you, Bunny. Thank you for being here. But yeah, I was able to catch your Instagram live with Dave this morning. So I'm not going to go over everything that he went over in there, but one thing that you mentioned in there is that it's a limited crowd for the event, unfortunately. We're kind of dealing with Delta or whatever's going on right now. But they originally had you with what, 20 tickets that you had available for people to come, and it went down to 5. Is that kind of what happened here?
So no, they told me I had 5 people I can invite, and
Yeah.
then so I had my 5. You know, it's like my wife, my parents, and then like one of my best friends, and then my coach's wife. And cause they wanted to come, so that was like it. And then later at night, they told me I had 20, so I started calling more people. You know, and they're all happy, super excited. And then the next day, so the next day comes, I send the list in the morning super early, cause everything was due Wednesday morning. I mean, Tuesday morning. Then like 2 hours, 3 hours later, they text me, "Hey, we got your list, but you're only allowed to have 5 people." And then I'm like, "Oh, they told me 20." And they said, "Oh, there was a miscommunication that it was for the main card fighters that get 20." But I got because I was thinking, I'm from Florida, so people are here for me, you know, and everybody else is not from here. There's like guys from Russia, there's guys from Canada. They're like, can
I get like those extra ones? Can I get those extra spots? They're not coming from Dagestan. They're not coming from the mountains to come watch.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, like they're not even local. Like, how are they gonna get 20 people? You know?
I mean, talk about some. You know, you don't need extra motivation. I obviously, but that's got to be motivating. You're just a lowly prelim fighter, and you know, the prelims are often the best fights on the cards. It's just kind of another level of respect for you, I believe, to kind of use as motivation here, because it's just like, oh, you're just a prelim PFL fighter. It's not enough to get the treatment of the main card fighter just because of where, you know, that's kind of crazy to me. I'm not trying to throw shade at PFL at all. But I like a little extra motivation, especially when, I don't know if you pay attention to odds, my friend, but we're a betting breakdown show, man. I saw you did post an Instagram story at least about it. You're a minus 305 favorite.
That's pretty cool. You know, Miami, so.
I mean, man, that 305. Why not? Exactly, Mr.
Right.
Miami. You know, I like it. I didn't even put that together. But what is that? How does that feel? You are getting that respect from the odds makers against a really, you know, I think a legitimate opponent in Hopeton here. 5-1, clearly has a route he wants to go with regards to the grappling. Kind of throws some sloppy hooks coming in. With all due respect, I mean that as a style, not as a critique. So, you know, this is not what I was not expecting these to be the odds for you. So does that play any factor in your view on yourself? What is it? Because this is not, you can't really say I'm being disrespected. They don't know it. I mean, minus 305 for a debuting fighter in a major organization, albeit against another debuter. How does that affect you going into the fights? Because now being in the bigger organizations, you're going to know your odds. This isn't Icon anymore. And even Icon, I think, had odds, but now definitely PFL. Yeah, PFL definitely. You're going to be hearing about that. You're going to be seeing it on the displays. What is that? Yeah. What's that like for a fighter?
No, it's pretty cool. I was surprised. I was like, I was thinking it was going to be the same thing. Like, you know, like we're both coming up, we're close in the record, and you know, we're both brand new to PFL. So I thought it'd be pretty even. But you know, maybe they know something. These guys, these bettors, they know something.
Sometimes they really know something. So other times they don't know anything. So I was just frustrated because I'm looking at this card, and this felt like my dirty little secret before I looked at the odds, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, the word's out here. People are not fooled at all. Who are you? Who are you working with particularly for this camp, and what have you been kind of working on? I know that you fought pretty recently, but what have you been working on since that trip to Mexico and the 19-second finish over there? What have you been working on? Who have you been working on with?
So I train at Bushido Muay Thai and Round 5 MMA. So there's 2 separate gyms, you know, but one's more striking based and the other one's more MMA based. But I train everything. I'm all around. You know, I train everything from wrestling to judo to jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai to boxing. You know, I'm pretty well rounded, and I'm always training everything to stay sharp. So like for boxing, I have like a Cuban boxing coach, George Rubio. Then for my Muay Thai, I have Manny Ramirez from Bushido, and then at Round 5, that's actually where Miguel Baeza started. If you know who that is.
Oh, yeah,
But
absolutely. Caramel Thunder. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Caramel Thunder, he's always that's so Caesar is the owner of Round Five, and that's his first coach for Caramel Thunder, and he still always comes in and out to the gym, so sometimes we train together. So
I see some similarities in that striking too, if I'm being honest. So that makes a lot of sense. That coach Caesar knows what he's doing for sure. I'm really appreciate you coming on Fight Week. I mean, seems like you are in great spirits. It seems like you're pretty close to weight. If I'm guessing, do you typically stay close to your walk around fight weight, or do you cut quite a bit of weight?
I get big. I walk around when I don't have a set fight. I'm like not even trying. I'll get to like 185, 190 walking.
Okay.
And I still have my abs, so it's not like I'm that big, but like it's just different when I have a set fight. I'm eating less. I'm dieting more, more running. More conditioning, like harder conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as I work full time. So it's hard. I work at the hospital, so I'm always like I work late shifts, so like the cafeteria is always open, so I gotta walk by and I'll see some snacks, and I fall into temptation sometimes.
I mean, that is wild that you are so. What do you do with the hospital?
I'm a cardiovascular assistant, so I help out with the like ultrasounds, or I'll bring patients in, I'll set the rooms up, or some things like that.
That's great. I think that's just another. I did not know that about you, so that's pretty cool. You're also you're a Nicaraguan. Nicaragua. MMA not exactly on the map yet. Is that going to be Alvin Espinosa putting it on the map?
That's the goal. I want to be the Nicaraguan that puts MMA on the map. There's not a lot of MMA athletes at all from Nicaragua. So if I can be like one of the top ones,
this has to be a big deal for. Are you noticing any attention coming from Nicaragua for this fight, being that it's presented on ESPN? Are you? Have you felt that
a bunch of like follows from Nicaraguans and like random people from there, like sending me messages that they're watching me, and it's only a matter of time, But
it's the best thing about this sport is there's nowhere in the world where there aren't fighters, and it's just I just kind of you see with these different athletes, you see with like even Jan Blachowicz when he goes back to Poland. I mean, the impact that these fighters have, and I mean. A person like yourself who's still working in the hospital, I mean, full time, hopefully with this PFL contract, and once we get a few wins here, maybe we put the cardiovascular assistant on the back burner for a few years. Full-time MMA is definitely something that I see in your near future here for sure. And I don't want to keep you too long here because I definitely could keep talking to you forever. But I do want to talk about Hopeton a little bit from your perspective. You've had fights in the past with wrestlers where they've been able to put you onto your back, but you've gotten up. And I think that's a hugely important skill to have in live action. And I think that based on what you've been telling me with your preparation, you prepare for everywhere. What are you preparing for with Hopeton? And do you picture kind of how a fight goes, or do you just not really waste your time with that sort of visualization? What overall? How are you feeling about this matchup?
No, I always do visualize, how I'm going to start off, or, worst case scenarios, what can I do? What do I think he's going to do? So I can be prepared. Like if something does happen, I'm ready for it in my mind. Man, for him, I kind of have an idea of what he's going to do, and I have a set game plan, but, anything can happen, and he's a explosive fighter. He's very cautious, so I have to be careful for his counters or like his power. He'll explode a lot, so he's got to be ready. And I fought fighters like that before, and except like I think the only person that was hard for me was wrestling wise was Taiwan, but man, my only two losses are at 45. And I've tried twice to make 45, and both times I never made it. I got to against Taiwan. I made 148, and I lost 35 pounds in 1 week. So that when I fought Taiwan, I ended the round with me on top, ground and pounding him. And
Who's popping in to say hi to Alvin?
Yeah, and then the second round came out, and I was gassed. But I was still able to take him down, get back up when he took me down. But I was gassed. Second and third round, I was gassed. But the first round, I finished on top. Like, if it was a pro fight, I would have been 2 more minutes on top of him. I had him in a body triangle, grounding and pound. But, it's amateurs and you learn. So I tried, I think, and then my third fight was also at 145. And they switched my opponent because I was 2-0 and I came in at 149. So that coach was upset that I came over. So they switched them and they gave me another guy. So I was 2-0 and they put me against a guy who was like 15 and like 6 fights. But I sold a lot of tickets, so I didn't want to not fight. So I'm like, whatever. So I fought this dude and I did good too. It was a split decision, or it was a good fight. It was back and forth. I took him down. I thought I won. The whole crowd thought I won too. Like, even the promoter thought I won. But, whatever. It's amateur. I learned.
Yep, that's what it's for.
Ever since I...
That's what I was going to ask, Alvin, about those 2 unanimous decision losses as an amateur. Did you feel like you lost those? And apparently one you did not feel like it, but the other one...
No, both. I thought I won both.
Both, really? So you should really be undefeated at this point.
Yeah, I took the first one I lost. I took him down every round. So all he did was just I lost because he was just holding me against the cage. But he didn't do anything. He was doing a little.
Sounds like TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah, no, but I
he was doing a lot more.
I was striking with this.
TJ was doing with the leg kicks were good.
And then just real quick, Alvin, apparently Dean is pissed at us is coming from Dave. I don't know what that's about, but Dean must.
Oh shit!
I don't know. I got a call earlier. I don't know, from a weird number, so I don't know what it was.
Oh no! Well, shout out to Dean. It's
probably a Nicaragua number.
Yeah, but either way, Alvin, I just want to really thank you for. Yeah, no, I know I scared you. Well, I'll let you go, man. Seriously, appreciate you coming on Fight Week of the biggest fight so far in your career. Take on Hopeton Lewis right out the gate, everybody. So definitely tune in. 5:30 on ESPN Plus. Alvin is an explosive, fun fighter to definitely watch. So if you want to catch up, all his stuff is on. Oh, Dave's saying it's about the sushi talk, so don't worry, you're not really in trouble, Alvin.
Oh, okay.
He said it's just about the sushi.
Did I say anything wrong? I was like,
no, you look so scared, and now David's cracking up in the. Yeah, no, he said it was just. Yeah, I think it's just about making fun of him eating.
It's probably like an inside joke.
I thought it was about the ticket stuff. I was like, oh.
No. I'm glad as an interviewer I didn't get you in trouble, but before I get you thrown out of the PFL, I guess I'll let you go, Alvin. But anything you need to shout out before we leave? Any sponsors? Any team members camp, anything that you need to shout out before we let you go? Seriously appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. No, it's always fun. It's good. I gotta practice this, keep talking and learn.
Hey, we'll have you on every card next time.
Yeah, after
this win.
Yeah, now you know to turn the phone to the side. That's a little, and you always got a spot here, man. We really respect the fighters who've come on to our channel early on. We just started a month ago, already over 100 subscribers. We're really, really humbled by it. We work really hard here to shine light on not just the UFC, but PFL. We've covered Cage Warriors, CFC, LFA. All MMA matters here.
Fury FC.
Fury FC we covered. We really respect.
By the way, you kind of look like Kevin Aguilar a little bit.
Like who?
Kevin Aguilar.
Again.
Oh, you don't know Kevin? He's from Houston.
So, anyways, Brandon.
UFC lightweight fighter.
Maybe something. Maybe. Yeah. I didn't say that, Alvin. I think you look like Alvin Espinosa. But seriously, thank you so much for coming on, man. Best of luck, and you've always got an open invite here on the channel. So we'll talk to you after your win, probably. But have a great day. Best of luck the rest of Fight Week. We'll see you on Friday.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, guys.
Peace out, brother. Thank you. All right.
Alvin Espinoza.
What can I say? And the team Aaron's coming in because you know who's here. My boy Raul.
Oh,
the
yeah.
nerdy Chicano himself. Yep, the nerdy Chicano himself. And then Dave, Team Aaron. Just an awesome little visit there.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. This is a breakdown show, but I will have timestamps. So if you didn't want to watch that interview, then we moved on. But he provided a lot of good information for me, it's a shame that 305 is the price there, but we do what we can, and everything. So I'm just going to reset here. Sorry. Just got to reset here, and then we will rejoin the breakdown here. But
one of my professional betting guidelines is bet on fighters who have a country behind them, and being from Nicaragua. Yeah.
Nicaragua. Okay, you can't say it. You're Canadian. That's fine. But it is nice that you compared the Nicaraguan fighter to a Mexican fighter, as you look like him. So that's just stuff.
Kevin Aguilar seriously looks like him a little bit.
I think that you. It's just not when you need it. But we're both on Alvin Espinosa here.
Oh wow,
correct?
The population is huge for that country. 6.5 million. Well, not huge, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think this is a big deal for sure for him and for the country. Hopeton is really going to be spamming the takedowns in the fight. He's going to be looking to grapple, and everything like that. Indeed, Raul, we all heard something else.
No, I was trying to pronounce it.
Dude, Alvin is laughing at you in the comments here. Literally, he's laughing at you. You don't know how to say Nicaraguan. Like don't even try to say it again. I want to keep the video up. But yeah, shout out to Alvin, man. Alvin, yeah, there we go. Good job. But yeah, eventually maybe we'll be like the Nicaraguan MMA channel. Who knows? You gotta shoot big here.
6.5 million. Yeah, that's a lot of supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. And there aren't a lot of athletes there, but in MMA, the great equalizer, the great unifier. Here's Raul helping out with a little. Yo, I love you, Raul. Shout out. But yeah, this is we're just gonna move on. Maybe I'll edit out your Nicaraguan mishap here. But we're on to the 170 division here. We got a fight between former Contenders Series alum Kyron Bowen taking on former Contenders Series alum Michael Lombardo. This is at 170. Kyron Brown coming in at that salty 9-6 record, 27.5 years old, fighting out Family Combat Fitness, 6'3", 73-inch reach, taking on the 11-2 Michael the Don Lombardo. Great name, by the way. I love that nickname. Out of Jupiter, Florida, American Top Team representative, 31 years old, 6 foot, 72-inch reach. He has a 1-inch reach disadvantage in this fight. I will be starting by breaking down the Don Michael Lombardo. Again, Alvin Espinosa at a minus 290 currently, plus 220 for Hopeton Stewart, if I didn't say that. So low money's coming in on Hopeton, so that's fine with me. I'll
said the Miami reference.
Yep, 305, Mr. 305. But Michael Lombardo, 31 years old, 6 foot, 72-inch reach, ATT representative. He's been around the game for a minute. Fought on Contender Series twice now. Lost to Kyle Dawkins on his first attempt at middleweight. He did just look outsized in that fight. After that fight, took a catchweight fight and began his quest down to 170. He's been at 170 his last 3 fights. Won the last 2 at a no contest against Hugh Pulley at Combat Quest. I'm not sure exactly what happened in that fight. It doesn't say, and I wasn't able to find it. But beat Alex Caceres' brother, Jose Caceres. So that's kind of a good win. He's 15-9, but he's 15-9, but he's a good aggressive fighter. And
I think he's the only one to beat Usman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So he beat Usman in his debut. Good call there. And then Corey Cup, he ended up taking on the Contender Series. It was it was a good win. He dominated for the most part, but I think again it was the kind of the length and height of Corey Cup that kept him in the fight. So Corey Cup's a 6'6" welterweight, I believe. So that's going to happen, especially for a 6 foot tall welterweight in Lombardo. Often he'll be the same height or a little shorter than his opponents. But yeah, appreciate it, Raul. Have a great day, man. Best of luck at work. Great, thanks for.
And I did get a haircut, by the way.
And he did get a haircut. I didn't even notice.
Even in Canada, things are starting to open up now, so gotta look fresh.
But yeah, Lombardo, he's pretty standard with how he goes about his business. It's a lot of cage control, clinch control, strikes, and wrestling. Not a grappler by any means, more of a clinch and wrestler than a submission grappler, but he can get the ground and pound going. Definitely with Kyron, the weakness is grappling, wrestling. This guy just gets taken down a lot. He is 6'3", but does seem to get into situations where he gets taken down. In his PFL debut, got taken down a lot before getting knocked out by Magomed Umalatov, who we'll be talking about shortly. Colin Huckbody beat him the same way Colin Huckbody beats everybody, arm triangle. Took him down very early and got it locked in. Kyron does seem to just be a little bit lost on the ground, does kind of muscle out of positions to get sweeps at points. So when it's a guy who really knows what he's doing grappling wise, I think that that's where he has trouble. I do think that, however, this fight is Michael Lombardo's to lose. I think that Michael Lombardo fights out of a much better camp. He's much more technical. Striking will be closer. But I think that Lombardo's going to be able to implement his grappling. I think get him into a position where he possibly can get a ground and pound finish. Otherwise, it will be a rinse and repeat decision here. I'm pretty confident in Lombardo, though. So I got Lombardo by decision. I realized I kind of screwed up here because I didn't break down Kyron completely. But, yeah, with Kyron, I mean, he's definitely a good striker, has a lot of early finishes against lower levels of competition. But even his last win, Travis Foster, I was able to watch that fight, and Travis Foster was able to take him down in that, and then it was like the sweep was just kind of muscled by Kyron, and then Travis Foster, a 4-10 guy, just kind of gassed. So hasn't faced a great level of competition. Lombardo's faced a much better level and looked better against them. So yeah, I got Lombardo in this one by I'll say by ground and pound finish, but I would say wrestling is going to be the key here regardless.
So you're on Michael Lombardo by decision.
Yep. The Don. Well, I said ground and pound finish, but I do think that either way, the wrestling.
Get it done.
Yeah, he gets the job done. We're going to see the odds here in a second. And again, the secret is out on this one. I expected this one to beat these odds, though.
Well, I was leaning Kyron Bowen because he's a dangerous finisher. He's got 4 finishes in round 1. He's got 2 in round 2. He's got 3 finishes in round 3. So he's dangerous anytime the fight takes place within the 15 minutes. So that's one thing I'm worried about. But yeah, Michael Lombardo, I faded before and it bit me in the ass. So if he sticks to his bread and butter, which it looks like he does in his fights, grappling, cardio, he's kind of like a B-rated Kobe Covington. He's on that same path. He's not even old either. He's only 31. That's his prime. He's in his prime. Kyron Bowen, 27, still pretty young. I don't know if his agency or his managers are doing the best work for him, being 9-6 at this point. But he has had a lot of big opportunities and has never really shined in those
No.
opportunities yet. So Michael Lombardo has been there, done that. He's shown that he can fight on the big stage. Both these fighters are making their PFL debuts. Both of them have faced decent competition. Like, you can't hold Kyron
Bowen.
Cohen that hard. You can't that loss to Magomed Umalatov. Like, that's not a big deal. Magomed Umalatov's going to do that 9 out of 10 opponents. Colin Huckbody, I believe he was on the contenders. Yeah, that was on the contender series. Yep. I think he might be in the UFC, or he's going to be in the UFC soon.
No, he was in the UFC. He lost his debut. But that's how he wins. He wins. I think all of his wins are by arm triangle.
Kyron?
No, Huckbody.
Oh, Huckbody. Yeah. That's like his Vicente Luque Darce choke. That's just his signature move.
The Darce.
I'm not going to count Bowen out here, but I kind of side with what you're saying. Michael Lombardo has been there, done that, shown it on the big stage, and has went 15 minutes and won a 30-27 decision. So,
yeah. So Lombardo. It's all about matchups in MMA, and this is the type of matchup that's been shown to beat Kyron throughout his 6 losses. They are wrestling, grappling based. Lombardo does not have a submission win. I would not be surprised if this was his first submission win also. So I think that I don't think we get that specific of odds with PFL, but if there was a submission prop, I'd probably sprinkle that, just because I do believe Lombardo could sync up an arm triangle in this one. He is a -300 favorite, +240 on Kyron. I do agree with the odds. I think they're a little heavy, if anything, but I understand the odds, I should say. And he is somebody who's going to be in parlays for me with Alvin, just because I feel those guys are pretty surefire to come through with their wins. But
I think the weigh-ins will tell us a lot too, and
Lombardo doesn't typically have. Yeah, Lombardo seems to have figured out the weight cut in his third welterweight fight here. But definitely we can wait at this price to
tomorrow. I think we got the Bellator and PFL weigh-ins in the morning, so.
Yep. So we can wait to invest in the -300 anyways at this point. But we're gonna move on here.
Probably won't take too long with this one.
Yeah, we'll move on here to the next one, because his fights don't take too long. 170 here for Magomed Umalatov, taking on Mikhail Torrell. Mikhail Torrell, 15-8 now, fighting out of Millersville, Maryland, 37.5 years old, 6'2", 74-inch reach, taking on we don't know his age, but I believe it's late 20s, Magomed Umalatov, another Prince, taking out 6'1", 6'1", 75-inch reach. Mikhail Torrell is first, 15-8, getting on the edge of that salty record there. 37 years old, definitely reaching towards the end here. He's had some pretty major injuries at times too. I had a knee injury. His last fight was against Esteban Payan at 173. So that's weird to me. Esteban Payan, former UFC, I believe, featherweight. So that's a little bit odd. Before that, Mikhail Torrell fought in August of 2019, was knocked out in 17 seconds by Samah Hamasi. Before that, had a no contest against Jerome Featherstone. Then before that, a few knockouts. Definitely more of a striker finisher. Goes in there to be killed or be killed. Has been finished by strikes in 3 occasions. Has been finished by submission 4 times. Has been finished by a submission the other 5 times here. Has only gone to a decision 1 time himself. Taking on Magomed Umalatov, the Russian fighter. Here, 10-0 for the Prince, coming off that win of Kyron Bowen, where he just showed off the wrestling, ground and pound in the first round, and then knocked him out with a clean overhand in the second round. Looked really good. Before that, had stoppages in all of his 9 wins as well. Triangle, rear naked choke, and then KOs. Had a flying knee as well put in there. Faced decent competition for the most part. And as he's progressed, has not looked to slow down. I think that Michael Torrell's in some major trouble here. Probably a quick finish for Umalatov, and I'm sure the odds are juiced.
Yeah, man, I gotta agree with you here. Magomed Umalatov is a beast. He's got 10 wins, 10 finishes, 7 in the first round, 2 in round 2, and 1 in round 3. He's from Eagles MMA, so Khabib's a big part of that camp. I'm pretty sure he's coaching it. And he's undefeated at this point in 2021, so Khabib might be getting Coach of the Year.
I think it's locked up. I don't know who else could be Coach of the Year. Trevor Whitman's not fighting enough, but maybe Trevor Whitman could, depending on how Rose and Kamaru would finish off the year, because I just saw Trevor working with Rose, and Rose is looking fierce. But
James Krause might be in the running, but it's a lot of
he's lost quite a few fights. He just had Darren Elkins beat Darren Mitter
Derek Minner lost. Jason Witt did win. He's kind of up and down, but I think he's in the running.
I mean, Coach of the Year.
At the same time, Khabib's way ahead. Mikhail Torrell is 37. I heard you don't know Magomed's age. He's 29. He was on the last PFL.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 29. So he's definitely in his prime. He's only faced like good competition. Well, not the best competition, but mid-tier. Mikhail Torrell, he's just trying to make a name for himself at this point, being 37 at this weight class. I don't see a big future for him. This should be another round 1 knockout for Umalatov here if everything goes correctly.
Yeah, I think that's about as much as we have to say. Minus 750 for Umalatov, and it's rising. It's going to be.
I got him at like minus 500, I think, but
I got him at minus 450 yesterday.
Yeah,
so went up, it's going to be 1,000 by fight night.
Making that Magomed parlay with Magomed on the Bellator and these two Magomeds on PFL.
I mean, just put the Russians all together. You're going to come through for the most part.
Yeah.
And
Stotts is a formidable opponent, though. I'm not doubting Stotts.
I already put a bet on Stotts, so I'm not.
And the odds keep getting better for him.
It's interesting. So I'm pretty sure that they got this fight wrong on Tapology, but it is our next fight here. It says it's at lightweight. I believe this is at welterweight between Brett Cooper and Tyler Hill. Considering Brett Cooper's last fight was at middleweight. And Tyler
he was the welterweight champion in multiple promotions.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is the same Brett Cooper who gave Alexander Shlemenko a 5-round war back in the day in Bellator. So fairly sure that Tapology has this wrong. I don't know if you think so, but it says lightweight. But pretty sure this is I'm going to break this down as if it's at welterweight because these are both former middleweights here. Tyler Zombie Hill taking on Brett Cooper. I will be breaking down the Zombie Tyler Hill first. He is coming off a loss in bare knuckle fighting by knockout. Never really like to see that. Zion Tomlinson Sr. just lost in bare knuckle as well in his last fight. So this isn't like a world beater exactly, but got knocked out in a minute 40. And that was only back in March of this year. So about 4 months ago. But before that, he got knocked out in Icon at the first Icon in September of 2020 by Syndicate MMA striking coach Johnny Parsons.
Oh, wow.
Parsons was very much smaller in that fight, but Tyler Hill has kind of shown throughout his career he gets finished, and particularly overhand shots are a weakness for him. He got finished by an overhand shot by Dwight Grant as well. Other 3 fights he got finished by rear naked choke, including to Brock Weaver, as well as Wade Johnson, a 10-1 opponent over in Bellator, and also lost to Lance Thompson, a 4-7 opponent by rear naked choke. So Brett Cooper, definitely the veteran here, 27-15. He's been around for a while. He looks a little different now. Doesn't quite have the big beard that he had from Bellator. just has more of a kind. He kind of looks like he's related to you, frankly. But like 6 foot tall, 72-inch reach out of Team Body Shop. This guy's just a veteran. He has a very square stance, for sure. Will move forward and have a high guard, high shell defense. Throws good power, has good wrestling. Kind of a fighter who has to get hurt before he comes back and hurts you a lot of the times. So slow starter, you could say. His last fight was against Alexei Efremov over in ACA. His last 4 fights were over there in Russia. And Efremov was on all of the juice for that fight. He was a monster in that fight. However, he had Brett Cooper completely finished in that fight. Landed a beautiful spinning back kick to the body. Herb Dean was the ref and decided to not stop the fight and was watching Brett Cooper play the old knee on the ground, hand on the ground, knee to a grounded opponent game. Several of them hit the solar plexus, the shoulder, and then Brett Cooper moved his hand out of the way and got landed on the face, immediately went to his back. He was done in that fight. So Brett Cooper is coming into this fight on a 3-fight losing streak, in my opinion, albeit to very good opponents here. Sharaf Davomaladurov, another guy who he actually had fought previously and had a really good fight over in ACB with and finished. He got finished in the second round, but no shame there. 10-1 opponent, 14-3, 38-10, 10-1, 20-10-1. He's facing guys with plus records, very good guys he's losing to, like Muhammad Burkamov, Mikhail Falco, who was a really fun fighter back in the day. I don't know if you remember Falco, but super, super fun fighter. Even Mohamed.
Lost a lot, but he was fun.
Yeah, even Mohamed Khalidov. These guys are just Brandon Halsey back when he was on his rise in Bellator. Shlemenko. He's faced Doug Marshall. He's faced Norman Parsley.
He's got a positive record in Bellator. He's 7-5 as a Bellator fighter,
including facing
Shlemenko in 2015.
Including facing Shlemenko twice when Shlemenko was also on all of the sauce. So, Brett Cooper. Tyler Hill is a good guy to break a losing streak against, in my opinion. I think Brett Cooper has the power, the wrestling advantage, and this should be as long as it's at welterweight. If this is at lightweight, I don't know what to think because these guys are going to die, both of them. But I'm assuming it's at welterweight. And
Hill has better experience at lightweight, but
Tyler Hill has fought at lightweight.
Yeah, he has, but Brett Cooper, I think this would be his lightweight debut.
So if this is a lightweight debut, it does change a lot for me because Brett Cooper is, I believe, 34 years old. That would be a pretty significant cut for him, and that would keep me from betting it until I see the weigh-ins tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if this is at lightweight, I give Tyler Hill a slightly better advantage, but I'm still going to go Brett Cooper.
Yeah, a lot of question marks on this fight. I honestly think it got paired up maybe 2 weeks ago because it wasn't originally on the PFL card, and then they added it maybe this past Sunday. So these two are coming in relatively short notice. Brett Cooper, definitely a vet in the game, 7-5 in Bellator. His past few fights have been in Russia, facing pretty good competition. If you're fighting in ACA or ACB, I think it was ACB and then it transformed into ACA.
Yeah, I think it's got bought out.
Just like
but
RFA turned into LFA.
Yeah, it's a tough go about for an American to go over to a Russian organization and fight Russians.
Yeah,
they're not setting him up.
He made an official retirement 6 years ago, and I guess he had no other form of income, so he's like,
we don't know why he came back. We don't know why he came back.
What other reason? I don't know what other reason.
Love of the game.
Maybe he loves the sport and he knew that he had time. He is 34 now at lightweight. I don't know if it is lightweight, like you said, but even at welterweight at 34, I have questions. Tyler Hill's in his prime. He's called the Zombie. He's only lost by knockout to, like you said, Johnny Parsons, who's the head striking coach at Syndicate.
Yep.
So still, like obviously he has technique, and Tyler Hill lacks a lot of technique. But I don't think Brett Cooper has. Well, he's good, man. Like all those fights and experience, but he's been knocked out 6 times, so it's hard to bet on a fighter who's been knocked out 6 times versus somebody who's nicknamed the Zombie. And Tyler Hill has his fair share of knockouts, 4 as a professional, 2 as an amateur. He's got submissions as well. I think this is a closer fight than what the odds dictate. Hill is coming in short notice, so that is a little worrying. I don't know. I kind of like Tyler Hill. And like you said, let's wait for the face-offs.
See what
Brett
rate
Cooper
this is
has been in
actually
the
at.
game since 2005, so.
Yeah. Well, interesting. I was not expecting that to be a disagreement, I'll be honest. Brett Cooper is a minus 210 favorite, plus 175 on Tyler Hill. I mean,
This was a guy that lost by 6 knockouts.
Tyler Hill's been finishing all 5 of his losses.
2 knockouts, I think.
Yep, 2 knockouts and a knockout in bare knuckle fighting 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's true. But bare knuckle's completely different. But
yeah, no, that's definitely true. And often I think the stoppages can come a lot earlier in bare knuckle, actually, and making it in a way bizarrely kind of safer than MMA in that way. But obviously, there's many ways it's not. And
Cooper has 17 knockouts, so that's always something to.
He has been
perspective.
And he has been put away 6 times, but he also has almost been put away in probably 7, 8, or 8 other fights and came back and won those.
That's
fights.
What I mean, man. I don't know.
Came back and won those fights. It's a little bit ingrained in his style sometimes, and I'm just not quite confident Tyler Hill is going to be the guy to make you pay for that style. Just in all honesty, but we'll definitely see. Next fight here also at lightweight, maybe. Or it is at lightweight, and it's between 2 former UFC guys, Olivier Mercier, OAM, also known as, taking on Daryl Horcher, who is made his return to MMA earlier this year, got a knockout in 29 seconds. The Saint is who we'll be starting with, 14-4, now 34 years old. 5'10", 72-inch reach, fighting out of Unrivaled Athletics. Daryl Horcher coming off of a win against Vadim Ogar, very, very submission specialist. What you do with the submission specialist? Knock him out in 29 seconds. Vadim also got knocked out in CFFC by Sadiq Youssef, but he got knocked out by Sadiq Youssef in 30 seconds. So Daryl Horcher knocked him out in a whole second faster. So Daryl Horcher better striking than Sadiq Youssef, according to my MMA math, according to that. But anyways,
Aaron, MMA math does not equal what we want it to equal.
No, I was joking. But it was a return for Horcher from kind of an unsuccessful UFC run. He did lose to Khabib Nurmagomedov on like 3 days' notice.
Arguably 0-4 in the UFC.
Well, I did go back and watch the Devin Powell fight. There's no way that was a split. I don't know what they were watching. Daryl Horcher.
It's striking over grappling, right?
Daryl Horcher is a wrestler and a striker, but definitely his striking was winning the fight, but also the wrestling. He did slow down in the 3rd round, and Powell had a few close submissions, but it wasn't a 10-8 round for Powell at all or anything like that. So I do think that was a pretty it was not the best of wins, and Horcher was also a minus 450 favorite in that fight.
Exactly, yeah.
So, but after that, lost to Scott Holtzman. Kind of had a back and forth fight there. I'm not going to hate on too much there. Holtzman was kind of in the middle of a resurgence there. But then it was the standing guillotine against Roosevelt Roberts. Didn't look great. Obviously, that fight hasn't aged greatly, as Roosevelt Roberts has appeared to be a little bit of a burnout, or not even a burnout, but a bust as
just
a prospect.
Submissions. He lacks that submission defense.
Yeah, but in that fight, he had Horcher crawling up the cage, trying to get out of submission. And then Horcher took a few years off. He came back, got that quick knockout, said he was going to start sitting down his punches again. When you look at before his UFC run, he did have a few KO finishes, including of Steven Regman, who's made an appearance on the Contender Series at least once.
And he lost to Anderson Silva comparison, Philippe Nover.
Yep, he lost GSP comparison, Philippe Nover.
I think Dana White said he's the next Anderson Silva.
Next GSP, I think he said. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we'll have to fact check that. If anybody is watching.
Yep, I'm fairly confident though. But besides that, he did have a few wins over in Bellator over EJ Brooks, a 7-0 opponent, and Chris Ligiori. So he's faced a decent level of competition, 8-2, 9-1. I mean, he does not take easy fights at all. Take it, and no exception here. Taking on Olivier Aubin Mercier. I don't know why I was trying to say Aubin Olivier Mercier. I don't know why I was mixing that up. 32-year-old Canadian gangster made his return against Mr. Marcin Held. That was a tough one for me. I had Held in that one, but Aubin was just too strong, man. He is a physical beast.
Good submission defense.
Very good submission defense. Not what you want going against Held. I think this is one for Horcher where I feel Horcher has a better chance than people are giving him credit for. I think he was off for a long time. He did show some improvements. Has a really good, strong left hand particularly. And Aubin Mercier has been shown to have some issues in the striking, although he's never been put away with strikes. He's never been finished. He's lost all 5 of his fights by decision. I do think that there's a chance with Horcher's ability to wrestle here that it turns into a stand-up bout. And if it's stand-up, I think it becomes really anybody's game, and Horcher has a slight advantage in the striking if it's purely striking. So This is one right now I am leaving alone, but I am tempted to my pick is going to be Daryl Horcher, actually. I think that he really looked to be in very good condition. He's had a few injuries he's had to overcome with I believe had a motorcycle injury, had to have some surgeries from that, which kind of derailed his UFC run.
Sounds like Sean Strickland.
Yeah, so man, I'm hoping to see a Sean Strickland resurgence here. That'd be great. But yeah, I mean, and it will be one I put down a bet on. I just want to see the weigh-ins to confirm that things are looking the way I saw them back in, I believe, for Daryl Horcher, I believe he fought in March of this year. Let me just confirm that.
Last year.
He fought. Okay. He fought. Okay, so he did fight. It was December of 2020. I thought it was this year. So yeah, I definitely want to see his condition coming into this fight. But yeah, if he looks to be in similar shape, I'm going to take a shot on him to win a stand-up bout against Aubin Mercier. So I think this is one that a lot of people are very excited about based on how Mercier looked coming back. But I think this is a tough weight cut for Mercier still at this point as he's getting older, and he looks huge.
He looks like he's on the juice.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it'd be a tough weight cut for him to make a couple times in 2 or 3 months, perhaps. Yeah. So
and shout out to Tyler Hill.
Maybe I'm reaching here. But I'll take Horcher.
Horcher?
I'll take Horcher by a decision. I think this one ends up being a stand-up bout. Yeah.
I'm going to go Tyler Hill. Happy birthday. I got to say that. He just turned 30 yesterday, so.
Okay.
And we just spoke about that fight the last fight, I believe, so I just want to say that before anything.
Okay.
Yeah, you got Daryl Horcher, right? He's coming in short notice. Natan Schulte was supposed to fight Olivier Aubin Mercier. Olivier had a very successful PFL debut against Marcin Held. 30-27, just wiped the board. Tyler Hill, happy birthday, buddy. If you're watching, maybe. You never know.
Yes, indeed. Happy birthday, Tyler.
Losses that Olivier has in the UFC. Arman Tarsukian, who's like a potential contender in the lightweight division. Gilbert Burns, who's a surging welterweight who might have another title shot. Alexander Hernandez, I don't know. He had a brain fart there. maybe I don't know what happened. He lost 2 out of the 3 rounds. That shouldn't have happened, but that was also 3 years ago at this point. I think he's only getting better. He's 32. He's in his prime. I think he's going to dismantle Daryl Horcher here. Probably get all 3 rounds. 30-27. Olivier has never lost by a decision, and Daryl is I guess he does get decision wins as well, but 5 unanimous and 1 split against not the best competition. Like, no names I can really rifle off, and you guys would even know. It's just hard to take Daryl Horcher here, especially after a year, or not a year off, but 9 months off. We just saw Oliveira. He also won by a DQ as an amateur by bites. I got to throw that out.
We're going back like 10 years.
I know, but that's kind of funny. A disqualification by bites. Like a Jason Knight type of move.
I guess psychologically what I've seen from these two guys, like watching their interviews and everything, it seems to me that Olivier Aubin kind of doesn't like fighting much. And I do believe that Daryl Horcher coming back is very focused. At 34 years old, he realizes a loss or two, and that's a wrap for him at this point with his body condition.
Yeah.
He spoke particularly about how he's really sitting down on his punches much more because he is confident in his wrestling. So he realizes that can unleash the striking here. I'm just going
to John Salter last night then, or yesterday.
Well,
if you're saying that's his last chance, then John Salter's last chance is against Gegard in Bellator.
It's almost like it's different matchups. But also the striking of Salter. But anyways, we've got a minus 400 to minus 500 favorite in Olivier Aubin Mercier. So I guess I am taking a shot on Horcher.
At least juicy dog.
Yeah, at least a shot here because I mean, Daryl Horcher, a plus 400 underdog. I think that's a little bit overvalued there in Olivier, but
maybe it's my Canadian bias.
Yeah, he should get it done.
Yeah,
I do find it that price
I like
a little bit.
Trying to find diamonds in the rough, though. I do like that.
So I'll take my shot on my dog there. Definitely a diamond in the rough in Horcher. Next fight here is at 170. Curtis Millender taking on Gleison Tebow. Two former UFC fighters here. Now fighting in PFL for the welterweights here. 35-15 is Gleison Tebow's record. 38 years old, just turned 38 a month ago. Fighting on Coconut Creek, American Top Team. 5'8", 68-inch reach. Taking on Curtis Millender, who is 33 and a half years old, 6'2", 78-inch reach. There's a 10-inch reach difference here in these two fighters. Start with Gleison Tebow, the former 155 lightweight opponent. Arguably gave Khabib his toughest fight of his career, coming off a controversial split decision win of Rory MacDonald. It was close. He was able to use grappling at times against Rory. So impressive that he was able to keep it close, but I do think Gleison lost that fight. But still, so far at 170, he's looked to have been able to keep a lot of that strength. Hung in there with Joe Zeffirino to go to a decision. Zeffirino, a prolific finisher. So wasn't very close for Gleison in that fight with Zeffirino. Although he was only a plus 125 dog, then as a plus 625 underdog. He came in and got that split decision win over Rory MacDonald. Stuck to him, used that grappling. Clearly the route he needs to go in this fight here with Curtis Millender. The blueprint is out there on how to beat Curtis Millender. It's grapple, get him to the ground, make him grapple. He will submit or he will gas and be controlled with the grappling. But either way, that is the route here. We've got a couple grappling bouts on Gleison Tebow's record. He has a guillotine choke of Will Brooks, who just came back this past weekend and dispatched of Steven Seiler very easily. So Will Brooks still a notable win there for sure. Curtis Millender, as I said, 10-inch reach advantage here for the striker out of Anaheim. California. He is on a 3-fight losing streak, 33 years old, 6'2", 78-inch reach, though. And his losses have been Sabah Hamasi, not a great loss. Just got outstruck in that one. That isn't how Gleison Tibau will beat him. Got rear naked choked by MacDonald inside of 4 minutes. Ezekiel choked by Magomed Kuramov inside of 2 minutes. He's been rear naked choked by Laszlo Zaleski dos Santos. Was controlled by Bilal Muhammad. It's just, you just got to wrestle this guy, grapple him. He's not going to win. I think Gleison is strong enough and able to get inside on that reach and control this for at least 2 of the 3 rounds. Going Gleison out here. Not exciting, but hopefully he gets a submission win. Otherwise, we're going to see grinding for 15 minutes.
Yeah, man. Tibau should get this done. Like, it's so obvious, the blueprint to beat Curtis Millender. He only fought, what, 2 months ago? 2.5 months ago?
Got Ezekiel choke in 2 minutes.
Magomed Kuramov a run for his money, though. He kicked that leg like 4 times, and Magomed was limping. And I'm like, oh, my God. Millender's going to cash as like a plus 500 underdog. It almost happened. I was really on the edge of my seat there. And thank God Magomed got that takedown and just did what he does best. So, yeah, Gleison does not want to stand with Curtis. Gleison has 5 rear naked choke victories, 14 submissions overall. So if he just sticks to his bread and butter, he also comes from a very reputable camp in America's Top Team. He holds the most takedowns in UFC lightweight history with 84. Yeah, so we're going to see takedowns for sure by Gleison. And even with that Rory MacDonald fight, I did not see it that big of a robbery than most. I even said before the fight even ended, I had Rory finishing off a lot of parlays, and I'm like, I'm not even going to be mad if Gleison wins this because Rory barely did anything in that fight. If you guys watch that again, round by round, it is very arguable that Gleison Tibau won that. I know I'm very opposite on a lot of opinions there, but yeah, I think Gleison's better than people think. He's like the Vicente Luque. Everybody underrates him because he's lost the very best, man. Like, he's had a fight with Khabib, Islam Makhachev, Desmond Green, Tony Ferguson, Michael Johnson, Jim Miller, Melvin Gillard. Like, this guy he's a gem in MMA. I love Gleison Tibau, and I think he should get a rear naked choke round 1 against a fighter who has an ultimate hole in their game when it comes to grappling and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult for me to pick Curtis Millender against any legitimate MMA grappler of any sort here. I'm pretty shocked the money has been coming in on Millender.
That's good.
So he is turning the corner to be a favorite in this fight. Some sites he already is minus 125, minus 105 for Gleison. So
maybe because they think Gleison's undersized.
Yeah, it could be that. I mean, it could be seeing those leg kicks and a little fear of if he's able to keep that. I mean, there's a 10-inch reach advantage for Curtis Millender. But yeah,
that's like grappling, man.
Yeah, exactly. Grappling does not. The reach doesn't get affected.
84 takedowns in the UFC.
Yep.
And I think he took down Khabib.
Yeah, I agree here. We are on to...
So good, great odds, guys. Take that minus 120, maybe 2 units.
Minus 110. Yeah.
Minus 110.
We're on to the main card here, starting at 155. We have a rematch of Loik Razumov. We just saw Gadi Razumov make his debut over in Bellator. Looked excellent as a minus, 900 favorite was Godzi or something like that.
Yeah.
Taking on Alex Martinez. They did fight earlier this season to a very competitive split decision win for Alex Martinez. We will be starting with the Peruvian out of Paraguay, Alex Martinez.
The Paraguay Canadian.
Paraguay Canadian, correct. 27 years old. He is currently fighting out of Grand Prairie, Alberta, at Champions Gym. Did lose his second fight to Natan Schultz, although that was also by split decision. So far in the PFL, he's had 2 split decisions, 1 loss, 1 win against very good competition in Schultz. And Razbanov was supposed to face Anthony Pettis coming into this fight, but Pettis had to withdraw due to illness, and he just that was back in June, and he just has not recovered, it seems like. So I'm not sure what's going on with Pettis at this point, but so far the PFL experiment has been a failure for him. Alex Martinez, very good athlete, very well-rounded, good wrestling, good striking, hadn't faced the craziest level of opposition prior to the UFC or PFL, I apologize, but has looked to really fit in there. Loic Razbanov, he did beat, very competitive matchup there. And Natan Schultz, I thought he was very close in that one. It could have went either way. But, he kept it close with the 2-time champion. This is going to be his 4th round with Loic Razbanov. I expect them to pick up where they left off. It was a very close first affair. Alex Martinez's wrestling did play a factor early on, but Loic seemed to get control as the fight went on. I think this is Loic Razbanov's turn to win a decision here. I like Loic by decision. Hey, Ferris, we're on to we're on the PFL, Loic Razbanov and Alex Martinez, the beginning of the main card for the PFL here. But
timestamps will be available a few hours after it gets posted, I believe.
Yep, they should be. But real quick before I turn it over to you, I also have Loic Razbanov, 30 years old, 14-3-1. He is on that 1-fight win streak over Ahmed Aliyev. He knocked him out in 27 seconds. Super impressive knockout there. I really do like Aliyev quite a bit. Loic seemed to really be woken up from his last 2 decision losses and got much more assertive in this fight, aggressive. I'm hoping to see that continue here while not getting reckless. And I think that assertive and aggressive in volume will be the difference here. Loic should be able to take this one, and I'll take him to win a decision over Martinez, even it up at 1-1. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man, I think we both had Loic the first time they fought Alex Martinez. If you look back in our that might have been before you started your YouTube channel, but yeah, that we were both on Loic, and he was like a -450, -500 favorite. Yep. And I was expecting him to get the nod, but I wasn't surprised if Alex did win. But if I was a judge, I had it 29-28 Loic. But yeah, you're not going to get your way all the time. The judges are in different positions around the octagon or the ring. So yeah, they have different looks at the fight that will persuade their judging. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm going to take Loic again. I know I might be shooting myself in the foot, but his odds are way better this time out. And he's the more experienced fighter. I think he might train with Khabib as well. No, yep. He's from the UFC. Does he?
Well, I mean, he's been training with Khabib because his brother was training for him, and they were preparing for their fights together. So. Oh,
perfect. Yeah. So that gives me more confidence. I have training out of Akbar. I never heard of that, and UFD Gym Dazzledorf. So I think that's a German. That's like the biggest German MMA gym you could be a part of.
I think him and his brother have gone around and traveled quite a bit to different camps and all.
Yeah. And he gave Natan Schultz a run for his money. Like he arguably won 2 of those rounds, 2 out of 5 rounds on one judge's scorecard. He's beaten Chris Wade. He beat Ahmed Aliyev his last fight out, which I bet Ahmed. So yeah, it's hard to get a good read on Loic, but if I lose again on him here, then I'm just gonna delete him from my life and never bet a friggin' Loic fight again.
Yeah, they're reeling us in -160 for Loic, plus 140 on Martinez.
I can't pass up on those odds. I can't.
Yeah, I'll take the -160 here, favorite. We are moving on to the next fight here, which is also at lightweight. It's between Mr. Clay Collard, Cassius Clay Collard, and Raush Manfio. I'll say right off the bat, this is probably my fight of the night. I think this one's extremely close, and I'm really excited to see this one because I think it's going to be a striking affair. I don't see either one of these guys looking to take this to the ground. Raush Manfio, 13-3 for the Brazilian, 29 years old and 9 months. Actually older. I'm surprised that Clay Collard's only 28. But yeah, Raush Manfio, 13-3, 5'9", 73-inch reach out of Team Nogueira. 2-fight win streak, both being splits over Zoltan Lutterbach and Anthony Pettis. I didn't think either one of those were splits. I thought he won both those 29-28. I
was praying Pettis won that fight.
So was everybody, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And Raush, very aggressive striker, throws heavy leg kicks, puts good pressure on his opponents, likes to walk forward, likes to move forward, for sure. We look at prior to the PFL, faced a decent level of competition. Not a ton of notable names. Did lose to Matt
Favola. Is really good.
Did lose to Matt Favola as well as Sidney Outlaw, but beat DeMarcus Jackson. Lost to Gleico Frauka.
Another PFL vet.
Yeah, on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil back in 2015. So no shame there. But yeah, he's very aggressive, goes to a decision a lot. Tends to like to strike, tends to give one to take one at times. And I just think that might not be the best route to go with Clay Collard to get a win, but it could be a really good route to go to get a fight of the night. I think these guys are just going to strike and throw down till one of them goes down or they make it to a decision. I really do. I think Clay Collard is not going to look to do anything but box here. 20-8 for Cassius Clay Collard. Took a dip into professional boxing for a little bit. Had a really big upset over one of the opponents he faced. I can't remember which one, but it was like a huge upset. But had some KOs over in boxing.
What fighter are you talking about?
Oh, in boxing, he had a big upset.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, he was like a title contender, and he put him to sleep, or he outclassed him for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, very active in boxing. Then came right over to PFL and put pressure on Pettis. We know that's how you beat Pettis at this point, and Clay Collard just nailed the game plan to perfection. Landed a lot of good shots. I'm surprised he was not able to put him away in that fight. I've seen a knockout coming for Pettis, but Pettis did toughen it out. Zoltan Lutterbach definitely made it a much more grimy fight, made it much more a grinding affair. And I think that is how you beat Clay Collard. I just don't see Raush doing that. I think Raush is going to toe the line, stand there, and throw down. It's either one of these guys can win this fight. It could be a split. I'm not betting it too heavy.
Oh, you're pulling the bunny card, are you?
I'm not betting it too heavy, but I think
might be a split.
I think I've said splits before. I'm not betting the split decision, but I'm going to take Clay Collard. I think the power and the length of Clay should be the difference here. Also, Clay's faced the better level of competition for sure as well, but Manfio really does seem to be coming into his own more. And the reach is, according to this, 73 inches on both sides. But it feels to me that the way that Clay goes about it, he has his what else
am I supposed to say, Aaron? You said everything. You literally said everything. Well, they're both coming off Anthony Pettis. Yeah, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Funny card. If anybody knows what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, I know that might be out of date, but
you got the bunny man.
Clay Collard, let's go. I'm a big fan of Clay Collard, but Raush lost me money on that Anthony Pettis fight, and that Clay Collard fight against Jonathan Lutterbach. I was sweating. I did not think I was on the fence on the decision. I thought Clay won, but when it comes to judging, it's a lot different from what I think. And I'm probably biased because I have money on the fighter. So, yeah, I was really worried about that. And he was like a minus 300 favorite, minus 225.
Yeah.
That was sweaty, man. And Raush, is just on the hype right now. He's up and coming. He's got nothing to lose. If he beats Clay Collard, he just beat Anthony Pettis and Clay Collard back to back, and he could become a millionaire. So I'm not counting Raush out at all. The odds aren't crazy on either side, but like it's just so hard to bet this fight, man. I can't count Raush out. I just, yeah, like you said, I might have to pull the bunny card too and say it might be a split. It's probably a decision.
In Bunny we trust. Clay Collard is a minus 160 favorite. It's kind of funny. He's gone from like a plus 700 underdog to like a giant favorite to now they're like, all right, let's make him like a little bit of a favorite. This is still Clay Collard, and maybe we just got really excited at just like a career-worthy performance against an on their way out, in all honesty, Anthony Pettis. So you got to be careful here. Monfio is entering that tip of the prime at 29 years old. Brazilian savage, and then Collard's 28, fighting out of Iowa. So
and he's got 30 MMA fights already.
Yeah, I think it's
fucking insane.
I think this is a fight of the night. I think it's a stand-up affair. And maybe
I love Clay Collard striking, though. I'm a huge fan. He digs to the body like Jose Aldo. Yeah, I think he's gonna slow Raush down, and I'm gonna say officially, Clay Collard edges out a decision. I'm gonna say that.
A unanimous or split?
Oh, I can't just. Everybody can't be a bunny, okay? I gotta say unanimous. 29-28, Clay Collard.
Good point. Everybody cannot be a bunny. The world would be much better if it was the case. Next fight here is at 170. This one hurts my heart because you know that Sabadou Sai is my boy. You know this.
Oh, yeah.
You know I love me some
Sabadou. A big underdog for you.
Yeah, and once you do that, it's hard for me to let go. It really is, because Sabadou Sai keeps getting these opportunities to be a giant dog, unfortunately.
It's like Lord of the Rings 3. Frodo and isn't Frodo holding on to somebody and he's about to fall into the lava?
I think it's like Smeagol.
Yeah, that's right. You can't let go. Don't let go.
Yeah, well, I'll Never Let Go is from Titanic with Jack and Rose.
That.
When Rose says, I'll never let go, Jack, and then immediately lets go afterwards. When she's on that door that was clearly big enough for two people, but she's like, oh,
the meme of the decade.
Yeah, but Sabadou Sai, the Swedish Denzel Washington. How can you hate a cross-eyed man who has the gall to call himself the Swedish Denzel Washington? The audacity is on sale with Sabadou Sai. But
no, I want to see these acting skills. You can't just call yourself Denzel and not be in any movies.
Yeah, 9-5-2. That I don't even know if that's salty. I think that's a vinegar record. 34 years old.
There was enough room on the driftwood.
Yeah, see, Ferris knows what's up. We all know that Rose was selfish. There was so much room on that door. And he's like, yo, like freezing to death. And she's like, I won't let go.
Want to way out. Leonardo's like, peace. I'm out of here.
She's like, I actually am going to let go, Jack. But back to Sabadou Sai here, 6'3", 80-inch reach. How can you not love this guy? He's a welterweight, 80 inches of reach, 34 years old. Currently on that one-fight win streak, of course, over Alexei Kunchenko by unanimous decision.
I know, but he hasn't lost you money in the past 3 fights.
No, he has not. And he's been a massive dog in all these fights. Against Ray Cooper, went to a draw in a fight.
Give him your money back.
In a fight I felt he won. He was only a plus 185 dog against Ray Cooper, which is interesting.
That's insane, yeah.
Then he was only a plus 2. Then he was a plus 215 dog against Alisakin. That was a fight where he was starting to turn it around and got eye poked. And then he couldn't continue, and it screwed him over because he only got 1 point, which is why he has to face Magomed Magkirimov in the first round of the playoffs, because he didn't have the points he had to face the 1 seed. So it's kind of rough that he only got 1 point in an eye poke that was Nikolai's fault. But then Alexei Kunchenko, former UFC fighter, he looked great.
Gilbert Burns fight competition.
Yep, exactly. He looked really good in that fight. Sabadou Sai stays getting screwed over, was supposed to face Gleison Tibau. For some reason, they rematched him against.
Yeah, because Glayson's opponent fell out, I believe.
So
I don't know.
therefore,
Yeah.
So Sabadu got the short end of the stick again. He went from facing Gleison Tebow to facing a much tougher opponent in Magomed.
But has another
Kiramov.
chance to win $1 million.
Yeah, and so but really good body kicks, good punches. Really knows how to use that length. His defensive wrestling has gotten better and better because that is the way that Sabadu was getting beat early in his career. But it's like you look at the guys he's faced throughout his career, and it's just like there aren't really those easy fights. Face Oscar Peixoto in his second fight of his career. Face guy Carl Booth is a solid guy. Bruno Santos, Kyle Magalhaes.
Bruno Santos is like the worst opponent you want to face.
Yeah, Bruno Santos. Abushev Magomedov, another guy who's very tough, who he gave a very close fight to. David Mushad.
Isn't that Khabib's dad's name? I think maybe.
No, it's not. It's different.
Oh, okay.
Abukar or not.
Abukar.
Yeah, but Magomed Kiramov, 28-5 for the 31-year-old, 6'1", 73-inch reach. So there's a 7-inch reach disadvantage here for the Russian. He is on a 13-fight win streak, however. Curtis Millender, he put away very quickly. Chris Curtis, Chris Curtis, he has a couple wins over. That's a solid guy. John Howard, Ray Cooper, Boyan Velovic. I mean, everybody you put in front of him. Pavel Kush, a former UFC fighter. I mean, he's put everybody put in front of him. He's put away.
Everybody. You know all these names. If you're a hardcore MMA fan, you know like every one of these names. Even Herman Tirado. You should know who that is.
Exactly. So 13-fight win streak, very well-rounded. I do think Sabadu has a chance in this fight. I am not going to be betting Magomed Kiramov. I don't think I can bet Sabadu, though. I do think Magomed is the real deal. I think he's the eventual champion of this tournament for the welterweights. So I think he solves the puzzle of Sabadu Sai, keeps this grappling. I think he learned from Millender. I'm not going to be winning stand-up wars here. Sabadu, if he can keep this on the feet, land those leg kicks, land kicks to the body, maybe a head kick goes up top and he gets a finish. But I can't really pick against Magomed Kiramov. He just looks so good. And I think he goes in there again, gets a decision win. I'm not picking a finish, so I'll get a decision for Magomed, but I do want to bet Sabadu.
And he's in his prime, too, Magomed. 31, Sabadu size, just getting older by the day. Turned 34 this year. He does have the height advantage, but that might play a factor into Magomed's game. It might actually help Magomed being that tall. He's got a lot of limbs to grab and take down. If Magomed just keeps this into his realm, he wins this 10 out of 10 times. But if he gets confident in the striking and Sabadu Sai somehow stuffs a takedown, which is very unlikely, Sabadu Sai can seriously cause a lot of issues for Magomed. We saw with Curtis Millender kicking those legs out. It only took like 3 leg kicks, and he was so compromised. And he's lucky he got that Ezekiel choke, because even if that went all 5 minutes,
there could be damage to that. There could be damage to that leg going into this fight.
Even still, because I'm saying if it went all 5 minutes, he might have not even been able to continue. That leg was so compromised. Hopefully he got rehabilitation on that. Maybe just duct taped an ice pack on it. I think he should be good. I'm not confident in betting Magomed Kiramov at these odds. Like, I'll probably have him in a couple, but I'm not going to go too heavy. And Sabadu Sai is a legitimate kickboxer. He's been in the before MMA, he was a kickboxer. So he's been in the combat sports game for 10 plus years. It's now or never for him. He's got nothing to lose. Imagine if he comes out like AJ McKee and lands a head kick. You know what I mean? Anything can happen in MMA. I know it's a vinegar record, like you said, but it's against very good opposition. And I'm surprised these two haven't fought in PFL before, because these these are two big names in the PFL organization, and I thought for sure they did fight previously, but no, this is a fresh matchup.
Yep.
Sadabusai is coming in short notice, so Magomed has to change his entire game plan that he had for Joust Zeffirino. I think it's still going to be a very similar game plan, get it to the ground and submission. Sadabusai has lost by a triangle before, so that means he was on top. He's never actually lost by a submission, so
Yeah,
he has, but by a submission that he doesn't get very often.
Yeah, he's improved a lot. Minus 700 for Magomed. That is just too much. I won't put that in anything.
That's why people are parlaying the 3 Magomeds to get even money, I believe.
Yeah, but even at even money for those 3 to all come in, one of these 3 is losing. One of those 3.
Yeah, you're going to be sweating probably almost every one. Well, not the Magomed Umalatov. I think that's the one where you're like, that's the one.
And watch. That's the one that comes. I mean, one of these. Yeah, I don't want to guarantee it, but I feel one of those 3 heavy Russian favorites is going to fail.
I'm saying the Bellator one, but that's just my own opinion.
I sure hope so. But I might.
And we're up to the main event, buddy?
Yeah, for me. It's dog or pass though for that fight. Sabadusai is much better than his record.
We'll see if they come out with prop bets. I haven't touched this fight yet, so
yeah, but much closer than the odds say. We are on to the.
My dog's barking. 1 sec.
We're on to no problem. We're on to the main event of the evening. They have decided. I don't know how they decide the main event, to be honest, but it's Rory MacDonald going up against Ray Cooper III in this main event. 170 for the playoffs here. We'll start by taking a look at overall how they match up with each other. Ray Cooper out of Hawaii, 28 and a half years old, taking on the Canadian, now fighting on Deerfield Beach, Sanford MMA. In Rory MacDonald, 22-7-1, 32 years old now, just turned 32 a few weeks ago. I'll be starting with the Brada boy, Ray Cooper III. He's been a 2-time welterweight champion, 5'7", 70-inch reach for the 808 Fight Factory representative, currently on a 4-fight win streak. Although those wins over Chris Curtis, decent. David Mashad, not bad. Jason Poney, not great, but put him away very quickly. And then Nikolai Alasakin looked very good in their last fight back in June. I believe he cashed as a slight underdog at plus 120. Before that, had a close fight with Sabadusai. John Howard got knocked out beat Zane Kamaka, got guillotine choked by Magomed Kirimov, so definitely wanting to get back there. Went over Henderson for Rhea, who just made his debut over in bare knuckle fighting. Yeah, this is a really good fight with Rory MacDonald for Ray Cooper. I think he's got to stay in his feet, try to hurt him, keep it simple. I mean, I don't think he's going to want to wrestle or grapple with Rory. I think Rory's got a huge wrestling advantage on the feet. I think it's also going to be tough for him. 22-7-1 for Rory MacDonald, now 32 years old, 6 foot 79-inch reach. That's a 6-inch reach advantage for Rory MacDonald in this one. I think that it's going to be a huge key. I think he's either going to be in close, trying to wrestle and get Ray Cooper onto his back, or he's going to be at distance where Ray Cooper can't hit him with the power shots. Rory MacDonald, I think, comes into this fight much more assertive with regards to his stand-up. And I think defensively, the wrestling, if it has to be there, will be there. And I just think he has to keep this fight at a distance, keep it moving. I think Rory MacDonald wins this one by decision. I just don't see him. I don't see either one of these guys getting the finish. And I think Ray Cooper's chance is KO in this one. I don't see him being able to get that decision. I think Rory mixes in a few takedowns at points, uses kind of distance striking and movement, and just gets a technical decision win. That's how Rory fights a lot more lately than he used to. I know he has that finish over Curtis Melender, but everybody does that. Besides that, I think he's just fighting much more conservatively. And I think in this fight, that will be to his advantage. I think Ray Cooper will be a little bit impatient, and that will end up costing him the decision. So I'll take Rory by decision.
All right, you're taking my Canadian.
Yes,
but
sir.
he's fighting out of Florida these days, so
Yep, Sanford MMA product now.
gotta betrayed us. Yeah, he had a very sketchy decision over Gleason. His opponent Ray Cooper actually missed weight his last outing, so let's pray he makes weight. And because I don't know what would happen because he's in the playoffs. I don't know how that would work if he does miss weight.
I think they just advance him.
They would just cancel the fight, and Rory would get the easy.
I think they just automatically advance him. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no reason to fight. So, yeah, let's hope he gets his weight under control. He's one of those fighters where he's not going to the scorecards. Like he's gonna knock you out, whatever means necessary, and he has a solid ground game too. He's great at keeping it into his realm of fighting. Stand up. He loves throwing hard bombs. He's great at dodging attacks from his opponents and sliding in and getting counters. He's great at body shots. Rory MacDonald has taken a lot of damage in his past, especially in that fight with Robbie Lawler. It seems like he breaks his nose every fight. He kind of had 2 layup fights in the PFL so far. Curtis Millender, literally anybody with a black belt is going to beat that guy. And Ray Cooper is on a totally different level. And he couldn't even beat Gleason Tebow, according to the judges, Rory MacDonald. So, yeah, it's just hard to trust my Canadian right now. I got Ray Cooper at underdog odds. I know the odds have swayed. I think Ray Cooper gets this done inside the distance. And even if he doesn't, he's going to beat Rory up. He's going to be bleeding. It might be it's going to be a really bad night, I think, for the Red King, as he calls himself.
So we got a disagreement in the main event. I'm on Rory MacDonald. You're on Mr. Cooper here.
You're lucky though, because you waited at the right amount of time, because the odds are like Rory might be an underdog tomorrow.
Yeah, it's probably going to be close to pick'em here, which I'm happy with those odds. I was happy with Rory at a slight favorite taking them, so I'm happy to wait for the odds to come a little bit closer here. I think Rory just is more technical in this one and takes the decision. I think a 6-inch reach advantage is significant as well, as just the overall MMA game acumen for Mr. Rory MacDonald, the Red King, as he is referred to.
Yeah, Rory does have the 5th best takedown defense in the UFC, but that won't matter in this fight against Ray Cooper.
Well, it could. I mean, Ray Cooper has used his wrestling at points, but yeah. I agree. So we'll just real quickly go through our picks, and if we have a particular parlay or anything we want to give out there. But starting at the bottom, Hopeton Stewart, Alvin Espinosa. I've got Alvin Espinosa by finish inside of 2 rounds.
I got Hopeton Stewart's probably going to knock him cold. No, I'm joking. No, Hopeton Stewart, he's a legitimate prospect, but he also has lost to a good competitor. I wasn't able to say this, but he lost to I can't remember his name, but he did lose to a decent opposition. And this is going to be a really good fight.
Yeah, he hasn't win, right? And he lost to Cesar Balmaceda.
Yeah, but Cesar lost to a really good guy. Let me just double check. How do you spell his last name?
Balmaceda.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, he lost to Sydney Outlaw, who we addressed on this podcast already. Sydney Outlaw is no joke. So yeah, losing to him might not be a big deal. Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. But yeah, we got to go with our boy Espinoza. Let's get it done, man.
Yeah, I'll go
Nicaragua. For Nicaragua.
Yep, the Nicaraguan. Next at 170, I got Michael Lombardo.
I'm not touching this fight, but Lombardo should edge out a decision. If prop bets become available, take Kyron inside the distance prop bet or a hedge bet.
Yeah, I might, but I'll probably stick with Lombardo and Alvin and Magomed to start out my night with those three.
Magomed's easy money.
Yeah, we got Umalatov by knockout. Next one, Brett Cooper, Tyler Hill. I got Brett Cooper, and this is at 155 allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yep. But Magomed all day.
Do you have Brett Cooper or Tyler Hill?
I already put a small wager on Tyler Hill.
Okay.
Brett Cooper has been knocked out 6 times. So.
All right, quick picks. Next one, Olivier Aubin Mercier versus Daryl Horcher. I'm taking a shot at Daryl Horcher. Probably going to look really dumb.
Olivier Aubin Mercier by decision. Let's go.
Okay.
Or late third round submission.
Curtis Millender, Gleison Tebow. I'll take Gleison Tebow to follow the Millender blueprint.
Tebow rear naked choke round 1.
Yep. Next, Loic Robazanov taking on Alex Martinez. I got Loic.
Loic is, I think we might be in the same boat here. If Loic loses for us again, then we will never believe in him.
Never again if he loses that. Next, Clay Collard versus Roush Manfio. This is my fight of the night.
We're pulling the bunny card on this one.
Yeah, I am going to go with Roush.
I'm going to go Clay by 29-28 decision.
Yeah, and to be honest, I might have picked Clay when we broke it down a second ago. That's how unsure I am of it.
Yeah.
Co-main event, Magomed Kirimov taking on my boy, the Swedish Denzel Washington Sabadu Usai. I'm not touching this one, but I am going to take Magomed Kirimanov and probably bet on Sabadu Usai and cry.
Yeah, I'm going to double check. I just want to make sure Magomed's never been finished before.
Oh, here we got a newcomer here, Underdog MMA. Thanks for joining us, man. Hope you drop a subscription. We're always here for all PFLs, LFAs, Cage Fury, Cage
Thanks
Warriors.
for chiming in, Underdog MMA.
We appreciate it. Yeah, I'm pumped for this card too. Playoff season, baby. What were you checking?
So only submissions Magomed's lost to, so we have no worry in Sada Busai getting a submission. So
I'm going to take
Magomed mate. Yeah. I can't even say his name. I'm not going to butcher it. But Sai inside the distance if he does win.
Yeah, I agree. And then Rory MacDonald, Ray Cooper. Hey, there we go. That's what we like to see. We'll see you next time, Underdog. We'll be back next week with whatever's coming on the slate of MMA. Check out our Bellator breakdown already on the channel. Great breakdown. Also, I interviewed Alvin Espinosa earlier on.
If you want to check it out, go to the beginning. Great interview.
Yep. And then Rory MacDonald versus Ray Cooper. I got Rory MacDonald by decision.
Ray Cooper knockout round 1.
All right.
Boom.
And that's how I like to do it, man. We don't always need to agree on everything, but that will do it. Bunny, thank you for joining us as always. We appreciate you. PFL is back, everybody. Thank God. We got double MMA on Friday. Reminder. We got Bellator starting at 7:30. We've got the PFL starting at 5:30. PFL starting at 5:30 with Alvin Espinosa versus Hopeton Lewis, and it is taking place on ESPN Plus at 5:30. There's no excuse. Leave work early if you're sad enough to have an office job and not lucky enough like me to not work in one. But for Aaron the Dog of Aaron the Dog MMA, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, we are out. Cash those bets, and you know what it is. Keep taking care of each other out there. Peace and have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.